Hello dear students. Today I am going to discuss about one model NEET question paper based on your annual NEET examination pattern. As per new schedule, your NEET examination will be held in September 13, 2020. Prepare well for your exam, and this medical exam will be held in pen and paper mode. Approximately 17 lakh students have registered for the coming session of NEET, and prepare well for this exam. Now, I am going to discuss about the entire NEET question paper pattern and entire. The first question is, two identical particles move towards each other with the velocity 2v and v respectively. The velocity of center of mass is two identical particles. Suppose we consider this is the plane surface, two identical particles. This is the particle 1 and another particle. This is particle 2, or this is particle A and this is particle B. These two identical particles move towards each other. These two identical particles move towards each other with the velocity. This is velocity 2v and the velocity is v respectively. The velocity of center of mass is, the velocity of center of mass is, from using the law of conservation of linear momentum, from using the law of conservation of linear momentum, m1 v1 plus m2 v2 is equal to, or m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 u2, or m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 u2. This is the law of conservation of linear momentum equation. But here, when these two identical particles move towards with each other, we get, that is, here it is in the form of 2m with the velocity of the center of mass is equal to after the collision, this is 2m v minus mv, 2mv minus mv. Here we get the center of mass is equal to, center of mass, it is equal to v divided by 2. Center of mass is equal to v divided by 2 and the velocity of the center of mass is v divided by 2. Option C is the right answer. The next question is, monoatomic gas at 27 degrees Celsius, a monoatomic gas at 27 degrees Celsius is compressed adiabatically to 8 divided by 27 of its original volume. The rise in temperature will be, the rise in temperature will be, the initial temperature, monoatomic gas initial temperature, that is T1 is equal to 27 degree Celsius. Converted it into Kelvin, 27 plus 273, that is 300 Kelvin, is compressed adiabatically to, initial its volume is V1 is equal to V and V2 is equal to, here adiabatically compressed its volume 8 by 27 of its original volume. We don't know the original volume. Here I can write original volume is V, but when it is compressed from its original volume, that is 8V divided by 27. We know the formula, ratio of specific heats for monoatomic gas is, that is gamma is equal to pi by 3. This is the constant value. The ratio of specific heat capacities for the constant value gamma is equal to pi divided by 3. In adiabatic process, T1, here T1 V1 gamma minus 1 is equal to T2 V2 gamma minus 1. Therefore, T2 is equal to V1 divided by V2. V1 by V2 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 into T. Then T2 is equal to, substitute the values, V1 divided by V2 into T. Here T is the value 300. 300 into V1 is 1 divided by V2 is 8 divided by 27, comma minus 1, that is pi by 3 minus 1. Pi divided by 3 minus 1. Then we get T2 is equal to 300. T2 is equal to 300 into 27 divided by 8. 27 divided by 8. 300 into 27 divided by 8. Or we can write here 300 into 27 divided by 8. This is 9 divided by 4. 9 divided by 4 is equal to 27 divided by 8. We can write this here. 9 into 3, 2 into 4, or 2 into, right? We get here, that is 675 Kelvin. T2 is equal to 675 Kelvin. Convert it into Celsius, minus 273. 675 minus 273, we get the answer 402 degree Celsius. Hence, the rise in temperature is, that is, or the change in temperature delta T is T2 minus T1. T2 is 402 minus T1 is 300. We get the answer is here 402. T1 is in terms of Celsius, sorry. T1 is in terms of Celsius, that is 27. 402 minus 27, 375 degree Celsius. Option C is the right answer. The next question is, a galvanometer can be changed into an ammeter. A galvanometer can be changed into an ammeter by using, when this galvanometer can be changed into ammeter by using the low resistance. Already we have done this experiment. Galvanometer can be converted into ammeter and galvanometer can be converted into voltmeter. When the galvanometer is converted into voltmeter, there the high resistance is connected from using the formula R equal to V divided by Ig minus C. But when you are convert the galvanometer into ammeter, there you connect the low resistance in parallel, so that the ammeter does not draw much current, which may change the magnitude of the main current. When we change the galvanometer into ammeter by using the process of low resistance, or it is also called set resistance, that is connected in parallel, option B is the right answer. Then the next question is, ABC is a triangle plate of, this is ABC. ABC is a triangular plate of uniform thickness. The sides are in the ratio shown in the figure. Here IAB, IBC and ICA are the moment of inertia of the plate about AB, BC and CA. This is A to B, this is B to C and this is C to A axis respectively. Which one of the following relation is correct? Here the intersection of the medians is center, the mass of the triangle. Hence, the distance of the center of mass from the sides are related. From the sides are related. So, here the distance from B to C. The distance from B to C is less than distance from A to B, and distance from A to B is less than distance from A to C or C to A. Therefore, here I from BC is greater. I from BC means moment of inertia. Moment of inertia. Here moment of inertia IBC is greater than IAB. IBC is greater than IAB. It is greater than IAC. or or IBC, moment of inertia from point B to C in this triangular plate of uniform thickness is greater than IBC is greater than IAB. So IBC is greater than IAB. Option B is the right answer because the intersection of the medians is the center of mass of the triangle. Hence, distance of center of mass from the sides are related. Only the sides are related. IBC and IAB. Option B is the right answer. The next question is the amplitude of magnetic field of an electromagnetic wave is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla. Its electric field amplitude if the wave is traveling in space is. For electromagnetic wave, we know the formula for the electromagnetic wave. Here Fe, electrostatic force, is equal to magnetic force. Then we can write here for Fe, this is Ee is equal to, for the magnetic force, for electrostatic force we know the formula E into E is equal to, for magnetic force we know the formula Be into C. Therefore here we can write E is equal to B into C, small e and small e get cancelled, E is equal to B into C. Therefore here the electromagnetic wave, magnitude of the electromagnetic wave is, that is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla into C is 3 into 10 to the power of 8. 3 into 2 is 6. 6 into 10 to the power of minus 7 into 10 to the power of 8. Minus 7 and minus 8 is, that is 10 to the power of minus 1. Here we get the answer is 60. 60 volt per meter. 60 volt per meter. Option B is the right answer. The next question is the velocity of light. The velocity of light, and if c is the velocity of light, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and p is the atmospheric pressure. In this problem, c is the velocity of light, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and p is the atmospheric pressure. The fundamental quantities in MKS system means here this is meter, kilo and second system. Then the dimensions of length will be same as that of. Here c is the velocity of light, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and p is the atmospheric pressure. The fundamental quantities in MK system, then the dimensions of the length will be same as that of. Here the dimensions of the length will be same as that of. We know the formula, the velocity of light and acceleration due to gravity, that is c square divided by g. Because c square divided by g is velocity of light, the dimension formula is c square by g is equal to L square t to the power of minus 2 divided by L into t to the power of minus 2, and L square minus L is, that is L. The dimension of length will be same as that of c square divided by g is equal to L. Option D is the right answer. Next question is a body having initial velocity 10 meter per second moving with on a rough surface, initial velocity is u, comes to rest, its final velocity v is equal to 0, initial velocity u is equal to 10 meter per second, moving 50 meter, this is distance s. What is the coefficient of friction? Coefficient of friction, that is mu, between the body and surface. The given value g is 10 meter per second. Here using acceleration is equal to mu into g, we know the formula, we get a is equal to mu into g. mu is equal to A divided by G. Here A is equal to, we know the formula, A is equal to U square minus V square divided by 2S. Here we can write this equation from V square is equal to U square plus 2S. From using this equation, I can write A is equal to U square minus V square divided by 2S. Substitute the values. U square is 100 square, that is to 10 square, 10 into 10, 100, minus final is 0, final velocity is 0, initial velocity is 10. 10 square is 100, 100 minus 0 is 100, divided by 2 into S, distance value is 50 meter, 2 into 50, 100, 100 by 100, that is 1. A is equal to 1 meter per second square. 1 divided by G value is 10. Therefore, the coefficient of friction between the body and surface 1 by 10 is, that is 0.1. Option D is the right answer. Then question number 8. A sonometer wire supports 4 kg load, this is mass, and vibrates in a fundamental mode with a tuning fork of frequency 416 Hz. The length of the wire between the bridges is now doubled. In order to maintain fundamental mode, the load should be changed to. In this problem, load supported by the sonometer wire is, that is 4 kg. In case of frequency of AC experiment, you have done this sonometer wire, or in case of waves topic, modes of vibrations in open pipe and a closed pipe, in that concept we have studied this formula. Here load supported by the sonometer wire is 4 kg and tension in the sonometer wire, that is T is equal to 4 gram. Here mu is the mass per unit length. And F is the frequency in this mode of vibration, that is F is equal to 1 divided by 2L root of tension in the string divided by mass per unit length. When the length is double, that is L dash is equal to 2L. When the length is doubled, L dash is equal to 2L, then new load is, that is L. Therefore frequency F dash is equal to F. Comparing these two equations, here F dash is equal to, that is, we know the formula, 1 divided by 2 L dash. Reconstruct this formula. Root of T is equal to, that is L into G. 1 divided by L dash, here 1 by L dash, root of 1 divided by L dash, root of L into G divided by mu is equal to 1 by 2L root of T is equal to, here 4 gram divided by mu. Now substitute the values here. 1 by 2L and 1 by 2L, or here we can write 1 divided by 4L root of Lg divided by mu, because L dash is equal to 2L. Substitute here. L dash is equal to 2L. 2 into 2, 4L. 1 divided by 4L root of Lg divided by mu is equal to 1 by 2L root of 4G divided by mu. Here, when you compare these two equations, we get here root of L. Root of L is equal to 2 into 2. Root of L is equal to 2 into 2, or L is equal to 16 kg. L is equal to 16 kg. Option D is the right. The next question is, large tank filled with the water to a height h. Large tank filled with the water to a height h is to be emptied through a small hole at the bottom. The ratio of time taken for the level of water to fall from h to h by 2 and h by 2 0. Here this is the large tank. The height of this tank is h. Initially, the ratio of time taken for the vessel of water to fall from, it contains water. The water to fall from h to h by 2 and time is t1. In the second case, h by 2 to 0, the time is t2. The ratio of time taken for the level of water fall from h to h by 2 and h by 2 to 0. We know the formula. The time period of the tank, that is T is equal to K into the root of H1 minus root of H2. Therefore, time period T1 is equal to K into H1. Root of H1 is the height H minus H2 is initially it converts H2. H2 is, that is H divided by 2. Initially it's having a height H and water level decrease from h to h by 2. The height of that water level is also h by 2. Then time t2 is equal to k into here root of h by 2 to 0. Then the ratio of t1 by t2 is equal to root of 2 minus 1. Root of 2 minus 1. T1 divided by T2 is equal to root of 2 minus 1. Option C is the right answer. The question number 11 is, a mass is tied to a string and rotated in a vertical circle. Rotated in a vertical circle means this is the circle. Mass is tied to a string. When the mass is tied to a string, here r is the radius and t is the tension in the string. This is the point A and this is point B. It moving in this direction with the velocity Vb and it moving in this direction with the velocity Va. Here mass is tied to a string and rotated in a vertical circle. The minimum velocity of the body at the top is the minimum velocity of the body at this top. Applying conservation of energy at A and B. We know the formula conservation of energy, that is 1 by 2m v square A plus, when you are applying the conservation of energy, that is 2g into mr. 2g into mr. Here 2 with the acceleration due to gravity, m is mass, r is the radius, is equal to 1 by 2 m v square into b. Therefore, we get v square b is equal to v square a plus 4 into gr. 2 into 2 is 4. V square a plus 4gr. This is equation number 1. Now, as it's moving in a circular path, it has a centripetal force. But at a point A, centripetal force at a point A, that is T plus mg, tension in that string plus mg is equal to centripetal force formula is mv square A divided by r. For minimum velocity, T is greater than or equal to 0, or centripetal force mv square A divided by r is greater than or equal to mc. Therefore, v square A is greater than or equal to gr. Or Va is greater than or equal to root of gr. Va is greater than or equal to gr. Option A is the right answer. Question number 12 is, what is the disintegration constant of radon if the number of its atoms diminishes by 18% in 24 hours? 18% in 24 hours. For nuclear disintegration, that is lambda is equal to 2.303 divided by T log of n naught divided by n naught minus n. This is the formula. And now we substitute the value is 2.303 divided by time is for 1 day. 24 hour convert it into second. 24 60 into 60, 24 hour 60 minutes 60 seconds into log of n naught is 18%. Initially it is 100% divided by 100 minus 18, we get that is 82, or we can write here 2.303 divided by 24 into 60, 60 into 60, 60 into 60, 3600. When you calculate this value, that is 24 into 60 into 60, 24 into 60 into 60 is equal to 86,400. 86,400 log of 100 divided by 100 minus 18, that is 82. Then here 2.303 divided by 2.303 divided by 86,400, that value is becomes 0.000022666 into log of 100 divided by 82. 100 divided by 82. 100 divided by 82 is equal to, that is log of 2195. When you are calculate this log and from using that value multiplying this, you get the lambda is equal to 2.1 into 10 to the power of minus 6 per second. Minus 6 per second. Option D is the right answer. Next question is, hot water cools from 60 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius. Hot water cools from 60 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius in the first 10 minutes, and in the next 10 minutes to 42 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the surrounding is, by Newton's law of cooling. By Newton's law of cooling theorem, we know the formula theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by T is equal to minus K into theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by 2 minus theta 0, where theta 0 is the temperature of surrounding. Now in the first case, hot water cools from 60 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius in 10 minutes, that is theta 1, 60 minus 50 divided by 10 minutes is equal to minus K. Theta 1 is 60 plus theta 2 is 50 divided by 2 minus theta 0. This is equation number 1. Again it cools from, in the second process, again it cools from 50 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius in 10 minutes is equal to minus K into, this is 50 plus 42 divided by 2 minus theta 0. This is equation number 2. This is equation number 2. When you are substituting the values here, we get dividing equation 2 by 1. Now dividing equation 2 by 1. Dividing equation 2 by 1, we get 1 divided by, here 60 minus 50 is 10, 10 divided by 10 is 1, 50 minus 42 is 8, 8 divided by 10, 8 divided by 10 is, that is 0.8, 1 divided by 0.8 is equal to, here when you are dividing these two values, 60 plus 50 is 110, 110, 50 plus 42 is 92, we get the answer is, that is 55 minus theta 0, or 55 minus theta 0. See here, 55 minus theta 0. Sorry, dividing, this is dividing equation 1 by 2. Dividing equation 1 by 2. 60 minus 50 is 10, 10 by 10 is 1. 50 minus 48, this is 8 by 10, 0.8. 60 plus 50 is 110. 110 divided by 2 is 55. 50 minus 5 minus theta 0. Minus k cancel. 50 plus 42 is 92. 92 divided by 2 is 41 or 46. 46 minus theta 0. Here 1 divided by 0.8 we convert in the whole form, it is 10 by 8, then 55 minus theta 0 divided by 46 minus theta 0. 46 minus theta 0, and you are cross multiply this value, 46 into 10, that is 460. 460 minus 10 into theta 0 minus 440. 55 into 8, that is 440 minus 8 into theta 0. Here 46 minus 10, or here we get 2 theta 0 is equal to 20, then theta 0 is equal to 10 degree Celsius. Option B is the right answer. Question number 14. Consider the following statement. Consider the following statement. When jumping from some height, here this is the surface of the earth. Here the person is located at this point. Here, when jumping from some height, you should bend your knees as you come to rest instead of keeping your legs stiff. Which of the following relations can be useful in explaining the statement where symbols have their usual meanings? Here force acts for a short interval of time. We know the formula, I is equal to F cross T. Force acts for a short interval of time, that is delta T. Here you can write this equation as delta T, or force act for a short interval of time is equal to mass into change in their velocity. Mass into change in their velocity. Option C is the right answer. Impulse, impulsive force, already all these things you know from using that concept. Here the option C is the right answer. Then the next problem is two capacitors. Two capacitors when connected in series. Here these are the two capacitors. These two capacitors are connected in series. Have the capacitance of 3 microfarad when 3 microfarad, and when connected in parallel with have a capacitance of 16 microfarad. Their individual capacities are initially two capacitors are connected in series, that is formula is CS is equal to C1 into C2 divided by C1 plus C2. C1 plus C2, that is 3 into 3 is 9, 9 divided by 6. 9 divided by 6, we get the value is 3. Then CP is equal to C1 plus C2. Parallel is 16. Sorry, this is connected in series. Series value is 3, parallel value is 16. Already they have given. Therefore, C1 into C2. 16 into 3 or CP into CS. 16 into 3 is 48. Then C1 minus C2. C1 minus C2 is equal to root of C1 plus C2 whole square minus 4C1 into C2. Substitute the values here. C1 plus C2 is 16. 16 square minus 4 into C1 into C2 is 48. C1 into C2 is 48. That is root of 16 square. Root of 16 square. Here 16 into 16. 16 into 10, 160. 16 into 5, 80. 96. 160 plus 96. Or here 16 into 16 value is 256. This is 256 minus 48 into 4. 48 into 4 value is 192. We get root of 256 minus 192. The value is root of 164, or value here 256 minus 192, root of 64 only, not 164, root of 64, that value is 8. Therefore, C1 is 12 microfarad. Therefore, C1 is 12 microfarad and C2 is 4 microfarad. C1 is 12 microfarad and C2 is 4 microfarad. Option C is the right answer. The next problem is mass number of helium is 4. Yes, mass number of helium is 4. And that for sulfur is 32. The radius of sulfur nuclei is larger than the radius of sulfur nuclei is larger than that of helium. We know the formula RS, the radius of sulfur divided by the radius of the helium. It is equal to alpha particle. From using this equation, R is equal to R naught A to the power of 1 by 3. R is equal to R naught into 1 divided by 3. Rs divided by R alpha. Rs divided by R alpha is equal to Rs is radius of the sulfur divided by R alpha is radius of the helium atom. Radius of the sulfur divided by radius of the helium atom. Radius of the sulfur divided by radius of the helium atom is equal to, from using the equation R is equal to R naught A to the power of 1 by 3, Rs divided by R alpha is equal to As divided by A alpha whole to the power of 1 by 3. Now substitute the value. So mass number for this sulfur is 32 divided by helium is 4 whole to the power of 1 by 3. Whole to the power of 1 by 3. Then 32 divided by 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Cube root of 8 is 2. Option C is the right answer. The next question is question number 17. The drift current in a PN junction. Drift current in a PN junction. Option A, from N side to P side. Option B, from P side to N side. Here this is the PN junction. This is PN junction when it is connected to the battery. The drift current, it moves from opposite direction, that is from N side to P side. Option A is the right answer. It is very simple. Then question number 18. A thin metallic spherical cell. A thin metallic spherical cell contains a charge Q on it. This is the thin metallic spherical cell, contains a charge Q on it. Point charge Q is placed at the center of the cell and another charge Q1. This is another charge Q1 placed outside as shown in this figure. All the three charges are positive. This is also positive, this is also positive, and this is also positive. All the three charges are positive. The force on the charge at the center is. The force on the charge at this center is. Here, the charge Q which is kept at the center. The charge Q which is kept at the center of the metallic spherical cell transferred to the outer surface of the cell, and inside the cell electric field is 0. Inside the cell electric field is 0 and hence force is also 0. Force is also 0. Option D is the right answer. The next question is Fermi energy. The Fermi energy for a substance is. Fermi energy for a substance is the highest energy level occupied by an electron in the energy band at 0 Kelvin is called Fermi level. You know that relation, valence band, conduction band, energy band, right? The highest energy level occupied by an electron in the energy band at 0 Kelvin is called Fermi level, and the energy associated with it is called Fermi energy. So it is independent of its temperature. It is independent of its temperature. Option A is the right answer. The next question is if the critical angle for total internal reflection for a medium to vacuum is 30 degree, then velocity of light in the medium. We know the critical angle formula, that is mu is equal to 1 divided by sin c. Mu is equal to 1 divided by sin c, then 1 divided by sin 30 degree is equal to 1 divided by 1 by 2 equal to 2. Then velocity of light in the vacuum, that is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 2. 3 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 2. 3 by 2 is 1.5. 1.5 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Option A is the right answer. The next question is, a metal piece is heated up to T degree. The temperature of the surrounding is T0 or T degree. The heat in the surrounding due to the radiation is proportional to. This concept is based on the conduction, convection and radiation. This is on the topic thermal properties of matter according to the Stephen's law. Here, heat emitted per second per unit area. Heat emitted per second per unit area is directly proportional to, we know the formula, that is T1 whole to the power of 4 minus T2 whole to the power of 4. Here T1 is the temperature of the body and T2 is the temperature of the surrounding. T1 and T2 are in Kelvin scale. According to the Stephen's law. Heat emitted per second per unit area is directly proportional to T1 to the power of 4 minus T2 to the power of 4. T1 and T2 are the, T1 is temperature of the body and T2 is the temperature of the surroundings. Both are in Kelvin scale. Option B is the right answer. Or you can write here Q1 is, or Q is directly proportional to T to the power of 4 and T to the power of 4. Option B is the right answer. The next question is, the raindrops are in spherical shape. Raindrops are in spherical shape. It's a very simple question. Raindrops are in spherical shape due to, when the raindrops fall towards the surface of the earth, the certain force is created on that surface. That is due to the surface tension. Then question number 23. An iron rod of length 2 meter. The iron rod of length is 2 meter. Here iron rod of length is 2 meter and the cross sectional area here L is 2 meter, cross sectional area is 15 millimeter square or 50 millimeter square. 50 millimeter square, that is 50 into 10 to the power of minus 6, is stretched by 0.5 millimeter. Stretched by 0.5 meter means the change in its length, that is 0.5 millimeter into 10 to the power of minus 3. When a mass of 250 kg, M is equal to 250 kg, is hung from its lower end, Young's modulus of iron rod. We know the Young's modulus. Y is equal to force per unit area divided by the change in its length divided by its original length. Substitute the value. The force is 250 into area of cross section is here 250 into 10, F equal to mg 250 into 10 divided by area of cross section is, that is 50 into 10 to the power of minus 6 whole divided by change in the length is 0.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 divided by length is 2 meter. Here 250 into 10 divided by 50 into 10 to the power of 6. 250 into 10 divided by 50 into 10 to the power of minus 6 into 2 divided by 0.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3. When you are calculate, we get the answer. Young's modulus Y is equal to 19.6 into 10 to the power of 10 plus 10 to the power of plus 10 Newton per meter square. 19.6 into 10 to the power of plus 10 Newton per meter square. Option C is the right answer. The next question is, a particle of mass 1 kg is moving in a simple harmonic motion with the amplitude of 0.02 and frequency of 60 Hz. The maximum force acting on the particle. Here, the maximum force, we know the formula. Maximum force is equal to mass into maximum acceleration. Maximum force is equal to mass into maximum acceleration. Mass value is, from using the simple harmonic motion, it is in the circular path, the m into 4 pi square v square into e. This is the maximum acceleration. This is the standard formula. When you are substitute, mass is 1 kg into 4 into 5 square into velocity v, or it is the frequency. V is the frequency, f square. Frequency, that is 60 Hz, 60 into whole square into amplitude is 0.02. When you calculate, you get the maximum forces, that is 288 into 5 square. Option C is the right answer. The next question is, according to Maxwell's hypothesis, a changing electric field gives rise to. This problem is based on electromagnetic waves. Already you have studied Maxwell's equation, displacement current and the displacement equation. But according to Maxwell's hypothesis, changing electric field. When we change the electric field, the current which creates a magnetic field around it. When we change the electric field, the displacement current is creates the magnetic field around it. It is very simple. In the current flowing through a conductor, the magnetic field is produced. Here the Maxwell, he also observed that when he changed the electric field, or the changing electric field, it rises to displacement current which creates the magnetic field around it. Option B is the right answer. Then next question is, the unit vector along. Here this is unit vector. Suppose we consider unit vector u is equal to 2i minus 3j plus k is. Unit vector along 2i minus 3j plus k is. Unit vector whose magnitude is 1. Now we take u cap is equal to u divided by mod of u. This is the unit vector formula. Now substitute this value, like here we get, that is unit vector u cap is equal to 2i minus 3j plus k divided by mod of 2i minus 3j plus k, or u cap is equal to 2i minus 3j plus k divided by, when you remove this mod, we can write here 2 square plus minus 3 square plus 1 square. Here we get u cap is equal to 2i minus 3j plus k divided by root of 2 square is 4 plus 3 square is 9 plus 1. Therefore, unit vector along 2i minus 3j plus k divided by 4 plus 9. This is 4. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. Root of 14. 2i minus 3j plus k divided by root of 14. Option A is the right answer. Then the question number 28. A bucket full of hot water is, here this is the bucket. Bucket full of hot water is kept in a room. Here it contains hot water. A bucket full of hot water is kept in a room. This is taken as a room, and it cools from 75 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius in T1 minutes. From 70 degrees Celsius to 65 degrees Celsius in T2 minutes. From 65 to 60 degrees Celsius in T3 minutes. Then here, initially the temperature of that water in the bucket is 75 degrees Celsius. In the time T1, the temperature is decreases from 75 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius. In time T2, temperature is decreases from 70 to 65 degree. In time T3, temperature is decreases from 65 to 60 degree Celsius. The time of cooling is increases as the difference between the temperature of the body and its surrounding is reduced. Surrounding is reduced. T1 is greater than T2, sorry, T1 is less than T2 is less than T3 because the time of the cooling is increases as the difference between the temperature of the body and its surrounding is reduced. T1 is very less than T2. T2 is very less than T3 according to Newton's law of cooling. The hot water loses its radiations with its surroundings. Option B is the right answer. The next question is, a man measures the period of simple pendulum. Man measures the period of simple pendulum. Here, inside a stationary lift. Here, this is the lift. A person is standing here. Man measures the period of simple pendulum. This is the simple pendulum. The period of simple pendulum. Man measures the period of simple pendulum inside the lift and finds its a time period. If the lift accelerates upwards, it accelerates upwards with an acceleration g divided by 4, then the time period will be, we know the time period of the simple pendulum, t is equal to 25 square root of L divided by c. Then t dash, the new time period, t dash is equal to 25 root of L divided by, when it's moving with an acceleration with upward, that is g plus a. Substitute the values here, 25 into root of L divided by g is equal to g plus a is equal to, this is g divided by 4. G divided by 4. 4g plus 5g divided by 4. This is 5g divided by 4. Or you can write here 2 divided by 5 or 2 divided by root 5 into time period t. Into time period t. The option is C. Correct option is C. Then this question is based on atoms, energy level diagrams. The energy of hydrogen atom in the nth orbit is En. Then the energy in the nth orbit of single ionized helium atom is, we know the formula, energy in the nth orbit, that is En is equal to 2 phi square E m to the power of 4 into z square divided by n square into h square. And for hydrogen atom z equal to 1, then energy in the nth orbit is equal to 2 phi square E m whole to the power of 4. 2 phi square E m whole to the power of 4 divided by n square into h square. For helium atom z equal to 2, then energy E is equal to 2 phi square E m to the power of 4 into 4 divided by n square and h square. Here, the ratio of energy of the hydrogen atom in the nth orbit is En, then the energy in the nth orbit of single ionized atom, E divided by En is equal to 4 divided by 1, or E is equal to 4 times of its nth orbit. 4 into En. Option C is the right answer. The next question is, Carnot engine absorbs 1000 joule of heat energy. Carnot engine absorbs 1000 joule of heat energy from a reservoir at 127 degrees Celsius. Carnot engine absorbs 1000 joule of heat energy at a reservoir 127 degrees Celsius, eject 600 joule of heat energy during each cycle. The efficiency of engine and the temperature of sink will be. Here Q1 is equal to 1000 joule, Q2 is equal to 600 joule. T1 is equal to, that is temperature of the reservoir. T1 is equal to 127 degrees Celsius converted into Kelvin, that is 400 Kelvin, and then we don't know the value of T2 and we have to find the efficiency. Efficiency of the Carnot engine, eta is equal to, formula is W divided by Q1 into 100%, or eta is equal to Q1 Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 into 100%. From using this formula we get eta is equal to Q1 is where Q1 is 1000 minus 600 divided by Q1 is 1000. The higher temperature is Q1, lower temperature is Q2, into 100%. Here the efficiency eta is equal to, this is 40%. 1000 minus 600 is 400 divided by 10, 40%. Now from Carnot cycle we know the formula Q2 divided by Q1 is equal to T2 divided by T1. Substitute Q2 is 600 divided by 1000 is equal to T2 divided by T1. T1 is 400. Then T2 is equal to 600 into 400 divided by 1000. Then you get the efficiency of engine and the temperature of the sink T2. T2 is equal to, that is 240 Kelvin. Then 240 minus 273. 240 minus 273 we get I think it is minus 33 degree Celsius. T2 is 33 degree Celsius. Efficiency is 40%. The option B is the right answer. 40% efficiency minus 33 degree Celsius temperature. This is the efficiency of engine and temperature of the sink. Option B is the right answer. Then question number 32. A cubical block of side 30 centimeter, the side is 30 centimeter, is moving with a velocity v is equal to 2 meter per second on a smooth horizontal surface. The surface has a bump at point O. Here this surface has a certain bump at point O. The angular velocity of the block immediately after it hits the bump is. Now we calculate the angular velocity. We know angular momentum formula, that is mvr is equal to I into omega. I is the moment of inertia of the cubical block. The moment of inertia of the cubical block is, we know the formula, I is equal to m into r square divided by 6 plus r divided by root 2 whole square. This is the moment of inertia, to find the moment of inertia of that cubical block. Now omega is equal to m into 2 r by 2 divided by m into r square divided by 6 plus r divided by root 2 whole square. Therefore omega is equal to 12 divided by 8r. 12 divided by 8r, or 3 divided by 2 into 0.3. We can take it omega is equal to 10 by 2, then it is 5 radian per second. 5 radian per second. Option B is the right answer. The next question is, body moves in a circular orbit of radius r. Body moves in a circular orbit of radius r under the action of centripetal force. Potential due to the centripetal force is given by V of r is equal to k of r. Here k is the positive constant. Period of revolution of the body is proportional to the potential energy U is equal to mv. Then this mv is equal to k into mr. K into mr. Here, when you are solving this problem, the centrifugal force formula is F is equal to minus du divided by dr. It is equal to minus k into m. The centrifugal force formula is mv square by r. mv square by r is equal to km. P is directly proportional to r whole to the power of 1 by 2. Then the period of revolution is, that is, t is equal to 2 pi r, circumference of the circle divided by its speed. Then 2 pi r divided by its speed is c r whole to the power of 1 by 2. Then t is proportional to r whole to the power of 1 by 2. Whole to the power of 1 by 2. Here option A is the right answer. Then the next question is three identical spheres. These are the three identical spheres. Three identical spheres, each of radius r, are placed touch each other on a horizontal table as shown in this figure. The coordinates of center of mass are. Coordinates of center of mass are. This is 0 and 0. This is 2r and 0. And this is for r and root 3r. R and root 3r. Here the center of mass is, that is, xcm is equal to m into 0 plus m into 2r plus m into r. M into r divided by the sum of all the masses. This is equal to r. And ycm along y-axis. Along y-axis it is m into 0 plus m into 0 plus m into root 3r. These two are along x-axis and these are along y-axis. M into 3r divided by m plus m is equal to r divided by root 3. R divided by root 3. Here the final answer is xcm comma ycm. Center of mass along x-axis and center of mass along y-axis. For x-axis it is r and for y-axis it is r divided by root 3. R comma r divided by root 3. Option D is the right answer. The next question is a charge q is moving with the velocity v. This is the charge q moving with the velocity v parallel to the magnetic field. Parallel to the magnetic field. Force on the charge due to the magnetic field. Due to the magnetic field is. Here we know the formula. Magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. That is very simple. F is equal to Q into vector V cross B. Here it is in the form of A cross B. We get Q VB into sin theta. When they are moving in parallel, theta is equal to 0 degree. Theta is equal to 0 degree. Force on the charge due to the magnetic field is theta is equal to 0 degree. Here the option C is the right answer. Force on the charge due to the magnetic field is 0. Then the next question is the current in a coil. The current in a coil L is equal to 40 millihenry is to be increased uniformly from 1 ampere to 11 ampere in 4 milliseconds. The induced EMF will be, we know the formula, induced EMF E is equal to L into di divided by dt. E is equal to L into di divided by dt. The current in the coil L is equal to 40 millihenry, that is 40 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Then di, the current is changes from 11 to 1, uniformly from 1 ampere to 11 ampere, that is 11 to 1 change in the current, divided by dt means that is 4 millisecond, 4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. 4 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Here 40 divided by 4, that is 10 into 10 minus 1, that is also 10. 10 to the power of minus 3 cancel. 10 into 10 is 100 volt. Option A is the right answer. The question number 37. The separation between successive fringes in a double slit arrangement is x. If the whole arrangement is dipped under water, what will be the new fringe separation? The wavelength of light being used is 5000 angstrom. When the arrangement is dipped in water, that is, the formula is b dash is equal to b divided by mu. B dash is equal to B divided by mu. Separation between the successive fringes in a double slit experiment is X divided by. If the whole arrangement dipped under the water, what will be the new fringe separation? The wavelength of light is used is 5000 angstrom. Here mu is equal to, that is 4 by 3. We get 3 by 4 into X is equal to 3 by 4 is, that is 0.75 X. Option C is the right. Next question is, time required to boil 2 liters of water initially at 20 degrees Celsius by heater coil, which works at 80 degree or 80% efficiency, spending 500 joule per second is. In this problem, heat required to boil water, that is Q. Heat required to boil the water is m into c into dq. This is the formula. Here the mass is 2 liter into the water is, here into the water is time required to boil 2 liters of water. 2 liters of water, when it is converted into joule, that is 4200 into the change in the heat is, that is 100 minus 20, we get 6.72 into 10 to the power of 3 joule. If T is the time for the boil, then the efficiency eta is into 500 into time T is equal to 6.72 into 10 to the power of 3, or time T is equal to 6.72 into 10 to the power of 3 divided by 0.8. 80% is 0.8 into 500. We get time T is 28 minutes. Time T is 28 minutes. Option C is the right answer. Then question number 39. The frequency of X-rays, gamma rays and ultraviolet rays are respectively A, B and C. Then the frequency of X-rays, gamma rays and ultraviolet rays are respectively A, B and C. Then here gamma rays has highest wavelength. This is how highest wavelength and highest frequency among them, while ultraviolet ray, this have highest frequency. This is a highest wavelength and lowest frequency. Order of frequency is B is greater than A is greater than C. Gamma rays has highest wavelength. It has highest wavelength, lowest frequency, and ultraviolet region has lowest frequency, highest wavelength. Then we can write this B is greater than A is greater than C. B is greater than A is greater than C, or here A is less than B and B is greater than C. Option B is the right answer. The next question is, a ray of light is incident on the surface of, a ray of light is incident on the surface of medium with the velocity of light at an angle 45 degree and is refracted in the medium at angle 30 degree. Velocity of light in the medium will be, here this is the normal surface. A ray of light is incident on the surface with an angle 45 degree. This angle is taken as, this is theta, with angle 45 degree, and as it is refracted in the medium at an angle 30 degree. This is refracted in the medium with 30 degree. We know the formula refractive index, that is mu is equal to sin I divided by sin R, sin 45 divided by sin 30 degree. We get mu is equal to 1 by root 2 into 2, that is root 2. Therefore, mu is equal to velocity of light in air, velocity of light in air divided by velocity of light in medium. It is equal to root 2. Velocity of light in the medium is, velocity of light in the medium is equal to, that is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 into 1 by root 2. 3 into 10 to the power of 8 into 1 by root 2 or 3 by root 2. We get the answer is 2.12. 2.12 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Option C is the right answer. The next question is, an element of 0.05 I cap meter is displaced. An element of 0.05 meter I cap 0.05 I cap meter is placed at origin as shown in this figure, which carries a large current of 10 ampere, distance of 1 meter in perpendicular direction. The value of magnetic field is, we know the formula magnetic field dp according to the Biot-Savart's law. dB is equal to mu naught divided by 4 into ideal sin theta divided by r square. Here di is delta x, that is 0.05. Here this is delta x, or it is di, and I is 10 ampere. I is 10 ampere. R is 1 meter. And sine 90 degree, here sine 90 degree, sine 90 degree value is 1. It is perpendicular. Sine 90 degree value is 1. Substitute all these values. dB is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi value is, that is 10 to the power of minus 7 into 10 into 0.05 length of that element into sine 90 value is 1 divided by r square, divided by r square. R value is 1 square. We get the answer dB is equal to, when you substitute 0.50, 0.05 into 10, that is 0.50 divided by 1 square value is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 7, or dB is equal to 5.0 into 10 to the power of minus 8 Tesla. dB is equal to 5.0 into 10 to the power of minus 8 Tesla. Option C is the right answer. Next question is, which of the following statement is false for a particle moving in a circular path with a constant angular speed? Suppose this is the circular path. Here this is the particle P, it moving in a circular path with angular speed. It moving in a circular path with angular speed. Here acceleration vector is always radial, that is towards the center. The acceleration is always acted towards its center for uniform circular motion. Option B, the acceleration vector is tangent to the circle. Or option A is acceleration vector is points to the center of the circle. This is right. And the velocity vector is tangent, right. The velocity vector and acceleration are perpendicular, right. And this statement is false, but option B is the right answer. And the body moving in the circular path, the acceleration is always directed towards its center, and velocity vector is tangent to the circle, and velocity and acceleration are both are perpendicular to each other. The false statement in this question is B. Option B is the right answer. Then question number 43. In an alternating current is flowing in a spring, then the spring will be changing. In an alternating current, or if an alternating current is flowing in a spring, suppose you consider this is the spring. Here if the alternating current is flowing in this spring, then the spring will be changing in a straight line, periodically, elliptically, first C and A. Here if a current passes through the spring, it sinks as in two adjacent wire. Current is flowing in the same direction. Even if direction of current is reversed, still the spring will sink. As the AC current is periodically changing current, the process of sinking will also be periodic in nature. This is option B is the right answer. Then the next question is question number 44. A ball of mass 1 kg bounces against the ground. This is 1 kg bounces against the ground. The approaching velocity is 25 meter per second. The velocity after hitting the ground is 20 meter per second. Implies exerted on the ball. Implies exerted on the ball. We know the formula, that is I is equal to m into final velocity minus initial velocity. Now substitute the values. M is mass 1. Then initial P of is, that is 25 with the angle sine 45 degree, minus or plus, it is plus Phi, that is 20 into sine 30 degree. Here when you are substitute the values sine 45 and sine 30 degree, when you are adding, we get the answer, that is 27.68 Newton second. Newton second. It is in the form of I is equal to F cross T. The SI unit of force is Newton, time is second. Newton second. The option B is the right answer. The next question is, a man projects a coin upward. This is the coin. A person is standing here. Man projects this coin upwards from the gate. Uniformly moving train. The path of the coin for the man will be. The path of the coin for the man will be parabolic, inclined straight line, vertical straight line, horizontal straight line. This is the applied concept. When man projects that coin upwards from the gate of uniformly moving train, path of the coin for the man will be vertical straight line. It is moving with the uniformly train. It's moving with the uniformly train. This is the very simple concept. Option C is the right answer, vertical straight line. And as the horizontal velocity is same for the coin and the observer, then it moving with the vertical straight line. Thank you.